I know this because there was a time that I could not listen to love songs. That's how I knew my heart was broken, because all I saw was the mistrust. And the biggest thing about infidelity and being in abusive relationships, period, is people trying to, for me, that were so caught up in their deception and what they were doing, and they would try to bend my mind against itself. And I would be like, you would rather me think that I'm crazy, or whoever the hell you're venting to think I'm crazy, than to just admit that you've messed this shit up. All of that, like, none of it actually applied to me. Just seeing that, what are you saying, daughter, with your mouth? Who made your mouth? Who made my mouth? This is a conscious rant. You're gonna have to just kind of come with me, okay? I'm just expressing here, like, justice coming to people who had been deceived. You getting busted, and justice coming to you. You can't watch something like that with someone that you're actively deceiving, that you're actively playing with. And I kind of knew it intuitively when those opportunities would present themselves, and I would just be like, oh, you would be against this because of your current position that you want to act like doesn't exist. I'm just saying thing too, and can fully see what they were doing. But I listen to mine. I like to peek in and listen. But, like, I'm so grateful for the kind of emotional, spiritual aha. I'll just say that, like, my heart is unbroken. That I can listen to love songs, and for a long time I couldn't, not without genuinely feeling some sense of sadness, a lack of my reflection. But that doesn't match the person that I'm getting it for, and that was hard. I was like, am I in the description? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, I weigh myself. I would do that silently. And I think that the one gentleman that told me that I was a lost soul, I think that it bothered him for me to be processing it out loud like I was. I'm like, well, if I stayed at my place and you stayed at your place, you would never hear it, but you wanted me to come over. I don't know what you have to talk about. These are the kinds of things that I talk about. So you just wasn't digging it. Okay. What happened? The truth, the root to the issue, the real reason that we're having this conversation is because you're jealous or because you're angry. I was saying I need to dust my passport off. So what happens when the illusion breaks? You've been ordered, you've been called into duty, and you don't even realize it. I know they say ignorance. See, that's the thing. We are all becoming. I am becoming. Since today's song. And away we go. I like to random silly shit. I feel like making faces. I'm gonna make faces. If I feel like marking you, I'm gonna mark you. The lights go off 9s and I can't. Oh. A very real Debo just drove by. Looked just like Debo on a bicycle. Caramel complected, bald head, with a white beater and a backpack on a bicycle. And made eye contact with me from the time he met my sight until he left it. Maintained eye contact with me. I am going to say this. Your foes may be able to slow some things down. They can't stop what is inevitable. If it is written that you win, then you win. You might not win how you think you're supposed to win. You might not win when you think you're supposed to win. But if it's written, man, if that's what it's supposed to be, and you have to remember that rejection is protection. When you start to see things through that lens, it just makes life so much simpler. It sharpens your ability to release. You release what no longer serves you. You release the things that you have no use for, or you are of no use in a situation, or in an environment, in a connection, in a relationship, whatever. That's all as I'm exiting. And don't you dare let them manipulate a situation and cause you to have a reaction that is like you're meeting them on a level, right? Because they went there, right? So it's okay to stand down. It's okay to stand down. It's okay to stand down. The ones that are trying to provoke you will say, oh, you just don't want to fight. Oh, she don't want none. You're right, because if I did, it would be on. And I don't talk about it. I just do it. That's it. Don't allow yourself to be provoked into a reaction, into somebody's propped scene. Like it's a whole scene that they've plotted out. Like, I want to feel your baby hairs down. That goes to the man too. You know who it applies to. Your girl get petty. Because you're going to have that camera rolling. You know what I'm talking about? A person that's putting on that show for people that wants to provoke you into a reaction where then they get to say, see, that right there's what I've been talking about. My children are now seeing in their adulthood that I pulled a Houdini on many people. Many people who tried to disprove my spiritual growth, tried to disprove my good heart. And it's not like I'm doing anything for show, but I'm just talking about what people had in their hearts they came across in the orders that they would give other people, to literally provoke a fight, to provoke a dispute. I knew intuitively. We all know how I could arrive to this conversation. We all know how I could arrive to the situation and to the disrespect. But let me show you something that I can tell you know nothing about. I can tell you know nothing about self-reflection and mercy and reckoning with oneself about your journey, about your own mistakes that you've made, about the type of help that you needed You could have used a mentor or someone just to have enough compassion to say, man, when you going to stop doing that? Or, man, I hate to see you hurting. What do you think you did that contributed to the situation? Yeah, I bet you won't do that again, for the smart asses out there. People show you who they are. I remember some people suffered a terrible loss in their family. Their matriarch, she transitioned on. And, you know, it's hard when tribally, right, we share mother figures. That one ain't just like everybody's mama. The one. The sister that allowed everyone to come over to their house and just grow from childhood to your adolescence to your teenage years into young adults. Okay, so I had to stop myself because I was going there. I was telling a story about when she transitioned and she passed, and I went over to visit with people that I hadn't spent any time with. I hadn't seen them in so long, in so many years. And I went to mourn with my family because regardless of that time and that distance, we still have the same blood in our veins. Whether they care to acknowledge that or not, there's no getting around that. Some force decided that we're supposed to be here and to share a space and to share an experience together. And they asked and chose how they showed up with me. I showed up to honor, and when I felt like weeping, I wanted to do it with them. Not alone. I do everything else alone. But someone that I shared with them. We shared her. When she left, I went to grieve with them, and they took that opportunity to share their grievances with me. That's as respectfully as I can say it. Sharing their grievances with me. Reminding me, one of the in-laws, like, yeah, I remember when you told me when I first met you, and you told me if I hurt her that you would kick my mother's ass. And I was like, yeah, I remember saying that. I was like, thank goodness you never did. You know I'm a fighter. I was like, you know I don't give a damn. I'm not going to upload that part. Another one hopped up who I actually had seen several times. I invited him to one of my favorite hangout spots near where I was living at. And I mean, we met up there several times. We talked on the phone. We actually were in each other's energy at least once a year, twice a year, something like that, you know? We just kind of be in each other's little orbit. And so I'm just saying, he's seen me so many times. And in that moment, he decided to confront me about some shit that happened over 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago. And I'm there to grieve the loss with. And I was just like, well, this is a dilemma. Because naturally in my heart, and my roots are my fight or flight never flights. Period. And so I just kind of figured, this is a test, God. I think I got this one. I was like, I'm not going to join and use my words to cut you down or to call you out like I really could have. But I just decided to back away and was like, you know what? If there's something that you want to discuss with me, I'm more than happy to discuss it with you. If anyone is hurt from my actions, you know, I'm so sorry if I did anything to hurt anyone. If I made a mistake in my 20s that left you thinking about it more than 20 years later and at such a heavy time of loss. Not even funny. I'm not going to walk away from the conversation leaving you empty. I can tell you, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. If this is a time that you really want to talk about it, that's not even what I came here for. And then I watched all of them turn into Simba and the hyenas. And I was just like, I ain't never seen it in real life. I've seen it on TV. It's a whole Tyler Perry situation. I went to comfort someone and he left me. He abandoned me, and I was checking on him. And I was just like, when the fire got hot between them as, you know, their family, it's like, I'm not going to say anything, because the day me and my sisters bump heads, even if we're in a public place, we can be at each other's throat. If it ever came to that, me and my sisters have never fought. But I'm like, you know, it could be going down. That's between us. You better not jump in and say anything to me or one of my sisters. We're going to defend each other like we were not just having a serious beef. These are not the people who are like that. These are people who question that. And then while I was there, again, trying to share that, man, very sad time, they're asking me questions about other people in the family, just trying to get the tea. And I'm like, why do you think that I talk to anybody? I really can't actually answer these questions. I was like, the last time I was in this person's space, I think this is what happened. I was like, this is a weird conversation. It was so many of those. And I'm just like, what did she ask? I have to think of it. It was one of those point blank, like I'm being nosy as hell questions. And they were like, yeah, like when you and your siblings get together, you know, when you guys, like, do you ever like think about everybody else's houses? Or it was something like that. And I was just like, and like everybody's business, like the tea on everybody and their gossip. And I'm like, we are so to ourselves. I really can't tell you anything about your household and your household and your household. I know about how your mother is doing. All of your mothers are doing, and your fathers, because my mother talks to them. I was like, but I don't know. Like, why would we just sit around talking about you guys? Like, why do you think that that's? I was like, is that what you guys do with all of your toys and devices around this place? The most that we'd had was a television set and a Nintendo, a VCR. This is before the time of CDs and DVDs. A radio, a record player. Those are the kinds of, like, they had computers. And anyway, I'm going to stop. The point is that I went to grieve. And they chose that time. Asked me about, I guess I'd taken them all to, I think I was like 21 or 22 years old. And I'd taken everyone to, maybe even just 20. I'd taken them all bowling. The ones that were in my generation. Like it was 2 carloads, or at least maybe I packed my car full of all of them. I forget exactly how we did it. But I'd taken all the kids bowling. And on the way back, we had to stop because someone said they had to use the bathroom and could not wait until we made it to my house. And I pulled over. We were in some place. Remember, I don't club. I don't party. So I did not know where I was. I just went to where I'm like, I'm not going to go to a place that's not well lit. I took them to, I don't even know where I was. I just saw a lot of people that looked just like me, if you know what I mean. And I felt very comfortable there. And I was like, we'll get out. Everyone hold hands. We stay together. I've never heard of anyone being lost in my entire family. And so I was just like, I'm trusting everyone that was there was more than maybe the age of 12 and followed instructions. And we came out and... What you say to me? It'd be funny how people be really picking and messing with you and talking noise. They don't realize actually that they could totally have gotten done up, man. It's like, don't let the prissy fool you. Don't let the prissy fool you. She ain't no joke, baby. Today is a day that just has me where I literally want to, well, I don't want to now, but I did want to cry a minute ago. I can be so hypersensitive and so emotional sometimes. But that's what happens when you have a stellar, what is it called? A stellar poker face. When you have a stellar poker face and people think that you're okay. So then they just continue to poke. And I'd be like, look. She ain't responsible. But of course I never let it out on anybody. Unless a person tells me to quit my job so that they can take care of me, and then I quit my job, and then they immediately start talking about how I don't have a job and put me out. Then I might strike you. I might push you in the back or on the side. Okay, I'm done. Really feel bad about that. Okay, keep your fucking hands to yourself, okay? Anyway, so I said all that to say that I've had my fair share of not discerning and reading the room appropriately, and just trusting people that I thought that they had a genuine love for me, that I had the same love that I have for them, that they have for me, and then only to learn that they didn't. When you are chosen, I'm not talking about like just because you have ups and downs that are common in life for everyone, no matter your gender, your race, your age, no matter your spiritual or political preference, no matter where you live. This is different. This is the grossest of injustices that people will have caused and or allowed. I was in a dangerous situation then and didn't even realize it. But I should have. At the end of it, the family is no longer, nor have they ever actually been moving like a family. I learned that there are people that can sit down with you and break bread. And that's supposed to be, you're not supposed to do that. You don't just share a meal with someone or, people that you don't really respect, that you don't really care for. You don't say a grace or go to church and hold hands and pray. Share such a heavy, and not have the sentiment. And I just remembered whenever I was confronted during a time that I was trying to be there for some people and to be, just to be supportive and just to show my love. And also, obviously, like I said, to grieve with them. I genuinely wanted to grieve with them in honor of her. That's not what it was. And it's taken everything. I think the memory of her overshadows the ill behavior, the bad behavior that I saw, that I observed, and that I experienced that night. And it wasn't even about me. But I guess it was. I'm talking people had camcorders or had their phones recording. Like, I've never drank with you. I've never smoked with you. I've never done anything other than visit with you and have a meal with you. And that night, like, I shared with them in several ways. And it's just like, if you'll do that to me, and not only am I not the enemy, I haven't even taken any steps or strides towards you or against you. It's like you're not even a formidable foe, because a formidable foe, you're not even a formidable foe, because a formidable foe, obviously I had to stop myself. Excuse me. Thank you. People know what they have coming. They know the deception that they've been spinning about you, and they will try to gather evidence, plant evidence, start rumors and smear campaigns, just to kind of run down your image, so that when you speak up, when you speak the truth about them and what they've done or what they are doing, they are very hopeful that they will have tainted everyone's perspective of you, to the point where it's just like you are literally yelling into the speaker. You're yelling in the forest when there's a storm. They're hoping that the image that they have painted of you will be so big and bright and loud that when you open your mouth to speak the truth, that the only thing that people will be able to hear is all that racket and that noise that they were making about you. But baby, let me tell you something. Inquiring minds want to know. You don't think I see? There are signs. Like for those, if you can relate, when you start speaking the truth and you start speaking it out loud, even if you're writing it, like I've been writing it for years, but I do see the change in my life since I've started speaking it and speaking it into this lens, into this right here, is projecting the truth. And all of the events that I didn't expect, all of the emojis on my phone, like I've changed my emojis to my skin tone. They're all the generic Simpson colored people. They don't represent the people that look like me. People can try to explain it away. This happens every time I start talking about the things that I'm talking about right now. Like I don't know that your daughter or your son, or that your cousin or your uncle, or that the family friend, I'm not going to say any names, man, that there are people that work there are people that work for you. There are people that work for the state. There are people that work for the government. There are people that work that think that they know me, and they don't. It's like if all eyes are on me, all eyes are on me. You'll be really trying to get a reaction, trying to get me to say stuff and do stuff. I'm like, it's like, I bet that made you angry, didn't it? Like, come out of your head. Let it go. Let it go. Run about your business. Anyway, the point is that they chose. He chose. And then they chose their timing, their battle, and I allowed it. And that was really hard. And it's like when emotions are high like that for something, it's a gift to have the foresight, because the gift isn't just having it; it's how you use it. I can look at you and I know that you're grieving, you're going through something. No, you don't just get past this to be verbally or even physically abusive because you're going through something, and this loss is hitting you harder, or it's hitting you closer because of someone that was closer to you. It's like I give you a pass to a degree, but when I consider that we are not little children. Speaking of when we were little children, like anyway, I'm just gonna stop.